Hey guys, so I tell like it is, another fake injury that I'm going to document today, this time happening to Drew Stanton on the Arizona Cardinals. We've seen other fake injuries in the NFL by the numbers. Aaron Rodgers' collarbone, Carson Palmer's injury, Drew Stanton's injury. Even the injury to Richard Sherman didn't look like a legit injury. A torn Achilles tendon it was, or ruptured Achilles. Richard Sherman is able to somehow walk off the field just fine. Didn't look really right just by looking at the play, seeing Richard Sherman walk off the field. It definitely looked like he faked an injury. Drew Stanton, why is it that we don't know until 2 days later that he has a sprained knee? Why didn't we find out until after the fact, not even after the game? The answer is that Drew Stanton is trash. The injury is fake. Blaine Gabbert is going to be another piece of the puzzle for the Quarterback Whisperer script. By the numbers, this is another fake injury in the NFL season that began on the 9th month in the 7th day. Injury equals 97 in gematria, as you see right there. It's interesting, though, that Gabbert equals 55 in Minneapolis, the site of the Super Bowl, the home site, the hometown of Larry Fitzgerald, and the place where Adrian Peterson used to be, is in fact Minneapolis. Blaine Gabbert's gematria of 28 is very significant as well. There is a time span of 28 days from the next game against the Houston Texans to the Pope's birthday. Remember, Pope equals 52, Jesuit Bowl equals 52. The Pope's ordained bishops are the Red College of Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals are named the Cardinals after the Red Birds. Bidwell and Catholic equal 35. Arizona is a Jesuit organization. Gabbert's first game with Arizona comes 28 days for the Pope's birthday. And Gabbert in gematria equals 28. But when you include the end day, this turns into 4 weeks and 1 day. And in gematria, the practice of coding letters and words into numbers, it is Super Bowl that equals 41. I find it interesting, too, that Pat Tillman used to play for Arizona, just turned 41 years old a few days back. I find that very interesting. Bruce Arians' book, The Quarterback Whisperer, How to Develop an Elite NFL Quarterback, was released on July the 11th. I already documented that the Carson Palmer injury happened 103 days after the book was released on this day. It's almost like Stanton equaling 103, Quarterback Whisperer equals 103. The Carson Palmer injury was completely fake. It occurred when Palmer had 9 touchdowns and 7 interceptions for the season. A lot like Larry D. Fitzgerald Jr. equaling 97. A lot like injury equaling 97. Injuries are one of the main narratives of the season. This number is 131. Championship in gematria, as you know, equals 131. 131 days from the release of the Quarterback Whisperer to Blaine Gabbert's first start. Drew Stanton, as you see, wore number 5. Blaine Gabbert wears number 7. It's interesting that his birthday is on October the 15th. Number 7, his birthday comes 7 days before the injury to Carson Palmer. I find that very interesting for Blaine Gabbert. Also in gematria, 57 itself. The number 57, it's interesting too that Drew Stanton was born on May the 7th, 5-7, number 5, Drew Stanton being replaced by number 7, part of this championship narrative that in my opinion is still not over until it is officially over. 57 in gematria equals 131, championship 131. There's further proof that this sprained knee is a fake injury. And we've seen many knee injuries this past week. it's going to be interesting to see what sprained knee in gematria equals 121. Blaine Gabbert in gematria also equals 121. Also in gematria, Revelation in gematria equals 121. A completely fake injury by the numbers. We can also see what sprained knee in Pythagorean gematria equals. Sprained knee 58. Blaine W. Gabbert as well equals 58 in Pythagorean gematria. This is a fake injury all the way. You can also take a look at the complete story by seeing Drew Stanton's stats for the season. He is 7-4 as a starting quarterback, a lot like Larry equaling 74, Messiah equaling 74. It was completely fake injury by the numbers. Drew Stanton with 44 completions. I documented that Bruce Arians' record of 44-26 right after the injury coincided with the same gematria value of faith. Faith equals 44-26. Arians now has 45 career victories in the regular season as the Arizona Cardinals head coach. I'm not sure what the significance of 105 is, but you see that faith equals 44 in gematria. Blaine Gabbert equals 98 in the 98th NFL season. Comeback equals 53. Is this going to happen with Blaine Gabbert? It can very well happen with Blaine Gabbert if he turns out to be much better than Drew Stanton. I explained why Drew Stanton was not even good to begin with and how he should not be playing, but it was part of the quarterback whisperer narrative to have him play. All done by the numbers once again. And Blaine Gabbert, I find it interesting that he's thrown 38 touchdowns in the NFL, a lot like Minnesota equaling 38. It's just another thing too. Just Carson Palmer is going to be coming back in week 16, and the quarterback right now may be Blaine Gabbert if he ends up playing well. Blaine Gabbert's birthday is October the 15th, and Carson Palmer's birthday is on December the 27th. Just what could be the significance of the time durations between your two birthdays? When you include the end day, this is a time span of 74 days. Larry equals 74, Messiah equals 74. But when you don't include the end day between Blaine Gabbert and Carson Palmer's birthday, their birthdays, apart from each other, are 10 weeks and 3 days from each other. This is no coincidence. Once again, it is quarterback whisperer in gematria that equals 103. This is no coincidence. It just means that it is part of the script to have Blaine Gabbert play. It's completely done by the numbers. I find it interesting too that there's 11 weeks from November the 19th to the Super Bowl. It's a lot like the fact that Houston, where Arizona is going to be playing this upcoming week, was the last host for the previous Super Bowl. It was Houston that hosted Super Bowl 51. Arizona is going to be playing there this upcoming week. This is an easy win by the numbers against Houston. Now these next few games are going to really help Arizona, because after playing the Texans without Deshaun Watson, they get 3 consecutive home games. Blaine Gabbert can end up beating his former team. This is a very key storyline for this Jacksonville game, is to have Blaine Gabbert come in and beat his old team. I wonder what November 26th date numerology is. 37, 57, 63. That's a date numerology of 74. There's not much with that 74. But no matter what happens, this is the game that Arizona has to win. It's one of these 2 games that I can see Arizona losing, but these next 3 games are at home, and the AFC South is not really that strong of a division. It helps they get the Colts both of these teams. This could easily be 3 consecutive home wins if Arizona is able to win the Jacksonville game. I have no doubt they're able to win both the Rams and the Jaguars games. The Tennessee game is going to be a toss-up. And you just look at the schedule with their 3 straight home games that they have. You know, they get the New York Giants. After that, they can get the Seahawks with Carson Palmer. And depending how Washington does, this one, though, is a toss-up. This one can easily be a loss for Arizona. But it's these two games that I'm seeing 2 wins for Arizona. And it is this 3-game stretch of home games. That's going to be a huge advantage for Arizona, Jacksonville, the LA Rams, and the Tennessee Titans. This can be a very easy stretch for Arizona, and this is far from over. Games against the Cowboys and the Eagles and the Falcons for Seattle. Games against the Eagles, Saints, Vikings, Titans for the LA Rams. This thing's far from over. I'm just going to continue to document. Keep a close eye out for the New Orleans Saints. Number 2, my list in the NFC, Philadelphia. Number 3, I'm going to continue to document. And just once the next 3 to 4 weeks, you know, come out and turn out the way it's going to be, then we're going to definitely see who's going to be in this playoff race by then. But I'm also going to do a playoff simulator as well and tell you what needs to happen for Arizona in order to stay alive for the Super Bowl. But just faith is going to be one of the key storylines of the season, to never lose faith even with all these injuries. I see this happening to a team like Arizona. The Miami running back's injury, I have to keep a close out for and document. I'm sticking with Arizona. I can see a very special run happening with Blaine Gabbert. The schedule is very favorable. The schedule is really hard for Seattle and LA. Just those are key ingredients to not release another prediction until we see all this action play out over the next few weeks.